Hello, everybody. This is Tom Dool here with TFT's Buyers Associates at Royal LePage and Port Alberni. Just wanted to do a little video today and invite Chris Fenton here from Royal LePage. He's the owner and CEO of the Fenton Team, and as well as Michelle Aston with Island Living Mortgages. I just want to talk a little bit about how the COVID-19 is kind of affecting people right now as a seller or a buyer, and also some of the challenges that getting a mortgage at this time, and some of the things that we can do to help alleviate that. So I just wanted to thank everybody for coming on. How's everybody doing today?
Doing good.
Doing great, thank you. Yeah.
Perfect. So to start off, so Chris is sort of in a unique position. He only works with sellers and listers. So what kind of effects has this had on you and your clients, Chris?
Yeah, exactly. So a real estate transaction, of course, has both a buyer and a seller, and I tend to represent the sellers. From a seller's perspective, it's changed things in a lot of ways. Of course, the safety is the paramount. We have clients that are in different stages of their life, different stages of health, and different views on all of this in general. So some sellers we're finding are just basically not wanting anyone in their house. So we're advertising those properties virtually using virtual tours and all sorts of amazing technology that we have available to us, but not allowing any viewings until this time is passed in order to protect those people. Whereas other clients are certainly open to showings, and what we're doing again is we're still trying to use those virtual tours, live viewing technology, using videos to show these properties to buyers, and then potentially hopefully get an offer subject to viewing, so that the seller doesn't have to have anyone into their home unless that buyer has shown that they're very serious. The market itself for sellers has definitely slowed down. We're seeing a decrease in activity, but there are still some sales going on.
Perfect. From my perspective, I work with mostly buyers, and sort of seeing the same thing, right? We got people who, can't travel because of their health, or they're worried. When this first started happening about 3 weeks ago, a month ago, everybody kind of put the brakes on. But, we're starting to see in the last couple of weeks, people are, they've been self-isolating, they're getting ready, they're starting to prepare. So we've been doing virtual videos for houses that don't have, like your properties mostly have 3D tours and videos, which is great, but a lot of them don't. So we've been offering going out and taking videos and doing live video chats. So that's been helping people. And you've had success with selling a property totally virtual. You want to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. We had a new house that was built on Lugren. It was a brand new house. And we went in there and we did I was representing the seller, of course. We went in there, did the full 3D virtual tour walkthrough, so that the buyer who's in Ontario is able to see the whole property from, walk through every single room, look up, down, all around, from the comfort and safety of their home. And those people actually made an offer that we were able to negotiate an agreeable on price, and they bought the house sight unseen. So they went through the whole process with a virtual viewing, the virtual tour, inspections and stuff were all done where nobody had to meet anybody else face to face. So we were all very, very much safe. And yet the transaction went through. We got a great sale price for the seller, and the buyer has an awesome house to move to when they're ready to move from Ontario. So huge success. And we're looking at that as being the blueprint for how this happens, all these transactions happening moving forward from today onward.
That sounds great. Yeah, it seems to be technology is definitely in our favor, and something that we're definitely going to take advantage of. So Michelle, one of the questions I kind of been getting a lot from our clients is people are seeing all these interest rate changes. Once this all kind of happened, what does that mean for like a new home buyer, or maybe a seller who's looking to refinance and buy a new home?
Well, that's a great question, Tom. What we found about 3 weeks ago is as the prime rate was dropping, fixed rates were spiking. So it was a bit of panic mode for people that were in the process of buying a house. What we did notice this week, I'm happy to report that our fixed rates have come down, and they're back to where they were about 5 weeks ago, as well as the prime rate, of course, is down, and I believe it'll be down for quite some time. We're just noticing that the variable rate is not being discounted as greatly as it may have been prior to the COVID-19. So the prime rate at 2.45 is discounted slightly, and we're just not seeing a huge discount on the variable rates right now. So for people that are purchasing, they're being offered the best rates still, and for refinances, their rates are still around 3, just below 3. And where we're seeing some great products is for people that are wanting to transfer their mortgages. they are being offered some great rates. We're seeing prime reduced by as much as 0.15 and fixed rates at around 3%. So if people 2 years ago were in a rate that is in the high threes, it may be worth their while looking at transferring it into a variable rate.
Perfect. So the lenders are lending. That's some people have been afraid that they're having a hard time getting a hold of their mortgage specialists or their banks. So they are lending. You are working. You know, we're all considered essential service. So people should not have to worry about that at least. So should they be locking into a locked in rate? Is that something, because they're so low right now? Like, what do you think about that?
Well, I have received a lot of phone calls about people that are in their variable rates and whether they should lock in. And the straight answer is no. Okay. Right now, you're in a variable rate, and some of those rates are at 1.5%. So the prime rate is only going to go up when the economy is thriving, and that's going to be for some time. So for variable rate holders, they're in a great place right now. Okay. And I say ride it out for as long as you can. And when rates start going up, like when the prime rate starts going up, then definitely contact your mortgage broker, myself even, if I haven't secured your mortgage, and I can help you out with the advice to lock that in.
Perfect. That's great. And so another question that I kind of had is a lot of people are worrying about right now or being temporarily laid off and how that's going to affect them with getting a mortgage, right? So I had a lot of clients who were looking right up, going to come spring break. This time right now, I had some clients who wanted to be here this weekend, and they had to put a break on because they got laid off, and so they are collecting the new bailouts that the government has been sending out. So is that going to affect them from getting a mortgage right now, or in the future when they go back to work here in a month or two? Is that going to be a red flag for them?
Well, the first part of that question, Tom, is right now, if they are temporarily laid off, it does affect them. They need to provide a letter of employment and a recent pay. And unfortunately, I have clients in the same position that were ready to either purchase or refinance and have been put on hold. The second part of that question is, will it affect them in the future? I don't believe so. I can't speak for every lender, but the biggest thing they look at, depending on the way you're getting paid, but for instance, if you're paid on an hourly basis, they're going to look at your 2-year average, and they're going to ask for a recent pay stub and a letter of employment with your guaranteed hours and rate. Now, they're going to notice on your letter of employment that your year-to-date is lower than it should be. And how we're going to mitigate that is through the explanation of being temporarily laid off during that time. So I don't believe it will be a problem in the future, okay. But definitely if you're laid off right now, it does affect your.
Okay, perfect. I think Chris had a question for Michelle.
I do. I have a question. So I've been getting calls from clients, a number of clients, and these aren't people necessarily looking to buy right now, but clients that have bought in the past, and just asking about mortgage relief. Do you know anything about mortgage relief and how interest is deferred, when it's paid, when it's due, and all that great stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I can't speak to all the lenders, but the lenders I have worked with have been very proactive in helping their clients. And for most of them, it's as simple as going on the portal and doing the request. Now, what happens in that process? So for instance, say you have deferred for 3 months, and in 3 months' time, your mortgage rate's going to start back up. But yes, the interest is still accruing through that period, and those payments and interest are going to add up at the end of your term. Now, if you don't do anything about it, yes, your amortization may be extended because there's a higher balance at the end of your term. So what my recommendation is to my clients that are deferring is that when that deferral process ends, so 3 months, 6 months, 2 months, is that we work out the numbers. And for say 3 months, and based on a $400,000 mortgage at 3%, my client is going to have to increase his biweekly payments by $40 for at least 3 years, so that at the end of that term, he's going to be, or she is going to be right where they were pre-COVID and pre-deferral process. So I definitely think it is a tool that is necessary and should be used by people that are needing to. And I also believe, though, that when we're on the other side of this, and it is your mortgage payments are starting again, that you should be proactive in paying a little bit extra so that your term at the end is where you were when you started your mortgage.
Okay.
Thank you.
Perfect. So Chris, what do you think in the next few months? How's it going to look for process for buyers and sellers? Do you have any, what they should be doing or what steps you should be taking over these next few months?
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be interesting. I mean, we don't have a crystal ball, so we don't know how long we're going to be. The government's going to ask us to stay, in quarantine, if you will. And for the time being, we're taking that very seriously. But again, we're still selling real estate. And even when that quarantine potentially gets lifted, I think the world is still going to, have a lot of challenges in terms of selling real estate. So again, we can, and we are, and we have in the past done everything virtually. We can show you properties virtually. And I recently priced some houses where the seller was showing me through the house with their camera. And I felt like I saw everything I needed to see to price their house that I would see if I was sitting there. So it was a great tool. We of course write offers using DocuSign email. So totally paperless, no need to sit down face to face. Inspectors can go in. They're asking that clients not be there as they typically would for the walkthrough. The inspectors are going in on their own and giving that talk to the client afterwards virtually, but that's fine. So we can get through every step of the way virtually, and I see no reason that real estate shouldn't keep selling. I think we're getting some pent up demand right now. There's a lot of people that would love to buy and a lot of people that would love to sell and they can't. So I think we're getting this pent up demand, and I think we're going to see that sort of play itself out in the next few months as things progress here, right?
Perfect. Well, thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate you guys coming from your homes and coming on a little video chat here to help answer some of these questions. Is there anything you guys want to say or any comments you guys want to make?
No, just thanks for putting this together. And I think this is some great information for buyers, sellers, and just everybody out there. So thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Like I said, I had a lot of questions, and I just figured I'd bring in some couple experts to help answer them, and hopefully people out there will find this video very useful. And I'm going to put some links to contact for Michelle if you're looking to talk about mortgage, and also for Chris Fenton if you're looking at talking about selling your house here coming soon or in the months to come. So look at the bottom of the links here and they'll have that information. So once again, guys, I just want to thank you very much for all coming out, and until next time, have a good day.
I'd like to thank you for putting this together. I think, especially at a time now, our world is going to be different, and how we are post-COVID. And these type of tools are essential. And so many people have questions and are not necessarily knowing how to reach out. So I really wanted to thank the Fenton team for inviting me today. I think it's fantastic that we can share information to people, and feel free to reach out to me with any questions you may have. And if you guys want to do this again with new questions, I'm up for it anytime. So
perfect. Thanks. That's great. Thanks, guys. And we'll see you guys later. Have a good day.
Okay.